Morgan Rielly scores first goal of the season, Maple Leafs down Capitals 5-1, Toronto. Morgan Rielly playfully predicted his first goal of the season was right around the corner. Turns out the snake-bitten Toronto defenseman was right. Toronto. Morgan Rielly playfully predicted his first goal of the season was right around the corner. Turns out the snake-bitten Toronto defenseman was right. Rielly finally found the back of the net Sunday as part of a second-period outburst as the Maple Leafs defeated the Washington Capitals 5-1 and celebrated the 1000th NHL regular season game in the career of captain John Tavares. "Important to us to play well for Johnny," Rielly said. "He's worked extremely hard in his career to get to this point." Toronto held the team's annual Easter Seals charity skate Saturday afternoon, and some of the kids on the ice at the fan-friendly event quizzed Rielly about when he would finally open his 2022-23 account. "Tomorrow night, obviously," he recounted telling them. Asked about that exchange after finally breaking his goose egg, Rielly flashed a wry smile. "I wouldn't call it a promise," he said. "It was more of a hopeful guess." Michael Bunting, with a goal and an assist, William Nylander, Pierre Engvall and Zach Aston Reese provided the rest of the offense for Toronto, 31-12-8. Ilya Samsonov made 23 saves in his sixth straight start and seventh consecutive appearance. Tavares added 2 assists on a memorable afternoon and early evening that included a pre-game ceremony with his family. "Something I tried to be aware of," the 32-year-old said of the hoopla. "But just tried to be where my feet were all day long and stick to the preparation." Nicklas Backstrom replied for Washington, 26-20-6. Darcy Kemper allowed 4 goals on 20 shots before being replaced by Charlie Lindgren. The Capitals' backup finished with 6 stops for a team that allowed 4 goals in the middle period and has just 1 regulation victory in its last 8. "We gave it away," Backstrom said. "Tough to come back when they score 4 goals in the second." Toronto head coach Sheldon Keefe said before the game goaltender Matt Murray, ankle, will be out through the NHL All-Star break and the club's subsequent bye week, but added the injury isn't expected to keep him out long-term. Murray was scheduled to start Friday's ugly 6-2 loss to Ottawa only to be made a late scratch that forced Samsonov into action. Joseph Woll was called up from the AHL on an emergency basis Sunday. The Leafs were also minus star center Austin Matthews for a second straight game with a knee injury that will keep him out until at least mid-February. "We wanted to respond," Rielly said of Friday's performance. "We weren't very proud of ourselves when we were leaving here after that game against Ottawa." Down 1-0 through 20 minutes Sunday, Toronto got even at 1:29 of the second when Bunting slid his 15th past Kemper on a power play. Rielly then snapped his first of the campaign. The blue liner looked skyward in celebration, at exactly 7 minutes to make it 2-1. "Just relief, that's all," Rielly, who missed 15 games earlier this season with a knee injury, said of what was going through his mind. "Felt good. Got some good karma Saturday. So happy for him," added the colorful Samsonov. "Probably gets some confidence for him." Tavares said he's been impressed with how Rielly navigated his dry spell. "Don't know if I've ever played with a better professional," said the captain. "A world-class player and person and leader." Rielly seemed taken aback when told of the compliment. "Probably just in cliché mode there," he deadpanned. "Let that one slip." Nylander scored his team-leading 28th on a delayed penalty at 10:45 before Engvall scored his 10th at 14:20 for a 4-1 advantage that spelled the end for Kemper. David Kampf picked up an assist on Toronto's 4th goal for the 100th point of his career. Aston Reese added his 5th with 3:13 left in regulation to round out the scoring. Washington opened the scoring with 2:43 left in a sleepy first when Backstrom, who played just his 9th game of 2022-23 following hip surgery, fired his first of the campaign through a screen on Samsonov. The netminder signed with Toronto in free agency after being cut loose by Washington, which drafted him 22nd overall at the 2015 NHL draft, in the summer when he wasn't tendered a qualifying offer. "He's been a pro," Rielly said of Samsonov. Our group has a ton of confidence in him. He just goes out there and does his thing, and then he provides some pretty good quotes after game. It's going good. Tavares hits 1,000, the 32-year-old expected quite a few family and friends in attendance for his milestone moment. Probably the most I've had in my career, Tavares said Saturday. Great to share it with so many people. Selected first overall by the New York Islanders in 2009, the Oakville, Ontario, product is the 375th player in NHL history to play 1,000 games. Leafs injuries. The Leafs announced before the game Matthews has been put on injured reserve. Toronto also activated defenseman TJ Brodie, ribs, off IR. Up next, Washington visits Columbus on Tuesday. Toronto hosts Boston on Wednesday. This report by the Canadian Press was first published January 29, 2023. ___follow at jclipperton_CP on Twitter. Joshua Clipperton, The Canadian Press.